Liam had always considered himself unremarkable, a mid-level engineer aboard the human colony ship Perseverance. He spent his days maintaining atmospheric processes and his evenings watching the twin suns set over the purple plains of Drakenholm Ivy. The apartment they'd assigned him was small but comfortable, with a balcony that overlooked the shimmering forest below. That's where he first saw the cat. It appeared one evening during the 3rd month of colonization, a small creature with scales that caught the light like polished obsidian. Liam had laughed at first, thinking his tired eyes were playing tricks, but no, the little thing was definitely scaled, with tiny horns barely visible above its luminous amber eyes. "Well, you're not from Earth," Liam muttered, setting down his protein bar. The creature moved an oddly familiar sound despite its alien appearance and padded closer on silent paws without thinking. Liam tore off a piece of his dinner and tossed it down. The scaled cat devoured it eagerly, then looked up at him with what could only be described as gratitude. From that moment, Liam was committed. Every evening, like clockwork, the little dragon cat would appear. Liam started bringing extra food from the mess hall: synthesized chicken, protein cubes, even the occasional fish substitute. He named her Ember, for the way her scales seemed to glow in the fading light. "You're getting bigger," Liam observed one night, 3 months into their routine. Ember had indeed grown, now the size of a medium dog, though she still made that endearing mewing sound. Her wings had developed too, delicate membrane structures that she'd occasionally spread and flutter. Liam never mentioned Ember to anyone. The colony had strict protocols about interacting with indigenous life, and he didn't want some xenobiologist taking away his only friend on this lonely planet. So he kept their meetings secret, a small rebellion against the regimented colonial life. What Liam didn't know was that every evening, as he fed Ember, he was being watched. Dotova stood in the crystalline chamber deep beneath the Drakenholm Mountains, her hand pressed against the viewing orb that showed her daughter feeding from the small human's hands. As queen of the Drakenholm dragons, she had lived for millennia, had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, but she had never felt fear like this. Her daughter, her precious final hatchling, had been missing for 4 months. Dragons were patient creatures, but a mother's heart transcends species. Eva had sent her scouts across every mountain range, every valley, every crevice of her world. Nothing. Then 2 weeks ago, a young drake had reported seeing the hatchling on a human structure. Eva's first instinct had been to descend upon the colony with fire and fury, but she had hesitated, watching through her orb, and what she saw had frozen her in place. The human was kind. He didn't try to cage her daughter or experiment on her. He simply fed her, spoke to her in gentle tones, and seemed genuinely happy in her presence. Eva watched as he carefully adjusted his schedule to be home for their meetings. She watched him smile a true smile when her daughter appeared each evening. "My queen," her advisor, an ancient dragon named Thornscale, rumbled beside her. "The council grows impatient. They demand action against the human colonists." "And what would you have me do, old friend?" Eva's voice carried the weight of ages. "My daughter chose him. She is a hatchling. She doesn't understand, doesn't she?" Eva's eyes never left the orb. "Look at her, Thorn. She's thriving, growing strong. The human has cared for her as if she were his own." Thornscale fell silent, watching as Liam gently stroked Ember's scaled head, the hatchling purring contentedly. "The humans don't know what she is," Eva continued. "They don't know that by feeding the queen's daughter, this one human has created a bond that will reshape the future of both our species." 6 months after Ember's first appearance, Liam received a message on his personal comm device. It was marked urgent, from an unknown source. Frowning, he opened it. "Come to the northern ridge at sunset. Come alone. Bring the hatchling." Liam's blood ran cold. Someone knew about Ember. He looked at his friend, now the size of a small horse, sleeping contentedly on his balcony. Her scales had darkened to a deep purple black, and flames occasionally flickered from her nostrils when she dreamed. He should report this. Should tell the colony security she's dead. Liam found himself at the northern ridge as the twin suns painted the sky in shades of crimson and gold. Ember walked beside him, sensing his nervousness, pressing her warm bulk against his leg reassuringly. That's when he saw her. Eva descended from the clouds, like a living mountain, her wings spanning the width of the ridge, scales that seemed to contain entire galaxies. Liam fell to his knees, not from fear, but from the sheer majesty of her presence. Human Eva's voice resonated in his mind rather than his ears. "You have cared for my daughter." Liam's mouth went dry. I didn't know. I thought she was just a pet." There was amusement in the ancient voice. "My daughter is heir to the Drakenholm throne, yet you fed her scraps from your table and asked nothing in return." Ember bounded forward, nuzzling against her mother with happy chirps. Eva's massive head lowered, gently touching her daughter, her eyes closing in relief. "For 6 months, I watched you, Liam of humanity," Eva continued. "I could have destroyed your colony in moments. Instead, I saw something I had not seen in 1,000 years: kindness without agenda." Liam slowly stood, finding courage he didn't know he possessed. "She was hungry. Anyone would have known." Eva interrupted. "They would not. Your own protocols forbid it. Yet you chose compassion over rules. You chose connection over isolation. The Dragon Queen's eyes, ancient and knowing, fixed on Liam. My daughter has chosen you as her guardian, her friend. In our culture, such a bond is sacred. It cannot be broken. What does that mean? Ava's rumbling laugh shook the ridge. It means, small, human, that you have accidentally become the bridge between our species. It means your people may remain on Drakenholm under my protection. And it means, her tone softened, you have given a lonely mother back her only child. Tears streamed down Liam's face as Ember bounded between him and her mother, her joy palpable. Thank you, Eva said simply, for seeing not a monster or a resource but simply a creature in need. That is the mark of true sentience. As Liam returned to the colony that night, Ember flying overhead beside her mother, he realized something profound. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their determination. It was their ability to show kindness to a small, hungry creature on a balcony, asking nothing in return, and sometimes that kindness could change the fate of worlds.